Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maya. I don't normally do like wrap-ups and TBR videos. It's just, I love watching them, but doing them myself, I just find it so cringe. And I really struggle like expressing my likeness for the book or my dislikeness for the book without telling you guys too much information, because obviously I don't want to ruin this plot. But I do want to start doing them because, like I said, I do enjoy watching other people. So I thought maybe there's a person out there who enjoys watching these of me. Like, stumble on my words, try to describe the story plot without actually ruining the story plot. So we'll see how this goes. I am late again. Great start to the year, Maya. I'm late with doing this, but you know what? It's on the 8th of Feb when this gets uploaded, so it's not too bad. But last month I read 9 books, which is kind of like my average and normal. The most I've read in a month, I think it's normally October time. I think last year I read 16, which is ridiculous to me. But on average it's around like 8 or 9 a month. Last month I did read a lot of Kindle books. So I only have 2 physical books to show you guys, which I am low-key upset about, because there's just something about holding a book up and be like blah 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 blah, you know, rather than me putting a picture here and be like it doesn't have the same effect. Anyway, before we get started, I'm gonna go make a brew. I suggest you do the same thing because I don't know how long this is going to take. Let's get into it. There's just something about cherry Pepsi. Mwah, so nice. Okay, now I've got a drink. We can get into this. So like I said, there was a lot of books that I read on Kindle, so I don't have the physical copy to show you guys, which is like a little bit annoying, but whatever, we'll just go with it. So I'm just going to put the picture up here of the book, a little description of it, because obviously I'm going to talk about the book myself. Again, doing it in order. The first book I read is Postmortem of a Poem, and this is the 6th book in the Autopsy of a Fairy Tale. I love this series, and I will always kick and scream about this series because I am just obsessed with it. Yes, I am so far in that I can't really tell you too much about it, but the first book is about, actually, can I remember what the first book's about? Let's go on the Google. Let's go on the Goodreads. The Goodreads is better. Okay, so right, yes. So the first book is called Autopsy of a Fairy Tale, and people describe it as Beauty and the Beast meets Criminal Minds in a murder mystery romantic suspense book. So our main girl, what is her name, Belle? Yes, our main girl Belle moves from like the really big city because she's having such a busy life, because she's a detective. In a big city there's a lot of crime, and she wants to like settle down and go to like a cozier, smaller village that, you know, doesn't have much crime. Turns out this has the most crime ever, and the girl is like swept off her feet, well and truly. Like there's actual like the serial killers upon serial killers, not like, you know, the one cheeky murder here and there. There's like 25 murders at this point by one person that's gone on for like centuries, and that no one's noticed until our Belle looks into it. Yeah, so much goes on, and it's not a world where it's just like humans. There is like supernatural in there as well, so there's like vampires, werewolves, so it really does, it does bring on Beauty and the Beast. It really does. It's got like the fantasy era, the magical side of it all, the realistic side of it all, the scary side of it all, because some of the stuff that they have talked about, scared, real scared. And there is a main male interest. He is not human, he is supernatural, and it goes on the aspect of again, Beauty and the Beast. She's the thing is, she's not fragile because she's a detective. She has to like be constantly on the go, constantly like in danger with shotguns and bombs and everything. So it's not like he has to look after her because she looks after herself. But in the same aspect, because supernatural's involved, he does need to step in that way. But each book takes on like a different Disney movie. So the recent one, this one that I read, number 6, is about mermaids, and I loved this book. I love this book so much. It was so disturbing. It was really uncomfortable to read, but I love those type of books, and I will always, those books will always have a place in my heart. I rated this 4 stars. I remember why I didn't rate it as 5 stars, because I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my god, it's such a 5-star read, and it wasn't. And it was just because of like the little niche arguments in the background. I thought they were like insane and petty, but that is the only thing that brought it down. But I rated it 4 stars and said unintentionally reading this after getting a mermaid tattoo. I have a mermaid tattoo in a teacup here, and I just thought it was just perfect. It was actually perfect. Then the next book I read was the first book in the Dream Harbour, called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And yes, I read this at the wrong time. Obviously it's like autumn, you know, it's the book cover is autumn. I read this in January. I don't understand why I decided to do that, but I did have a good time. It wasn't a book where I was like, oh my god, yes, queen, love that. The argument in the books, normally in romances, you have like a really good time, like they're loving each other, it's great, there's banter, and then you get to 80% of it, and then it's like an argument. Either it's going to be really petty, or it's going to be very like, you know, called for. This one, the argument was called for, like 100% get it, but everything else in it was just either really slow or really quick. Like I just didn't settle with the pacing of it. The world building itself, I cannot wait to get back into it, because the world was just stunning, and there's certain people in there that I'm like really excited to read how they got together or how they are going to get together. So I am going to continue this series, even though the book to me was like an average, an alright book. I'm not going to let that disappoint me. I've got all these books on my Kindle. I've already bought them all. Do you know when you have this like 99p sale? I got them on those. And yeah, it's about a girl who lives in a big city, and she's like the PA to like a big person. I don't know if it's finance, I can't remember what it was, but it's in an office space. I can't remember if she worked a long day or she came in the morning, and she found her manager dead. Like he had a heart attack on his desk by himself in an office. Like that was, the office is what he last saw. And I feel like that made her think, this is not the life I want. So she changed it. She went to a small village where her auntie had a drink cafe shop, and basically gave it to her. And she was like, well, I don't know if I want it. And then she was like, no, I'm not living that past life, I'm going to change it. And it goes into that aspect. But because it's a small village, everybody knows everything about everyone. So you don't have any privacy there. If you've got a little crush on someone, everyone knows. If you started dating someone, everyone knows. If you got dumped, everyone knows. And I personally, myself, could not deal with that. Like, I like my secrets. I like people not knowing stuff about me. And that, to me, was just scary. I just talked about, you know, killing mermaids. But this one, scary. 3-star, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm very much excited to get back into it. So excited. And the books are just beautiful, but overhyped. I'm going to say they are overhyped to me, just a tad bit. I'm sorry, don't come for me. Oh, the first book I can show you with the physical copy. I'm so excited. Okay, so this, what is this series called? Mortal God. This is a Mortal God series, and I had the first book, obsessed with it. I don't know if you can actually see the first one. Can you see that blue one up there with the spider on it? I think I'm pointing at it there. That's the first one. It's annoying because it's a short hardback, but we digress. It's fine. It's a gorgeous cover. I get this from the Butterfly Book Club, and not all the books are out yet in obviously the beautiful glory that it is. I love these, and I love the concept of this series. I absolutely loved it. So it's about where society's broken up, where you have the normal mundanes, you and me sister, you and me, and then you have the middle people, which are like demigods, which are the children of the gods, and then you have the gods. And if you're at a demigod, you have to, like your parent, either the god or the mortal parent, has to, do you know when like you get a birth certificate, you have to like go to someone and be like, they're a mortal god, mate. This child of mine, a mortal god. You have to tell people about it. And if you're a mortal god, you have to go to like the mortal god school. You can't disguise yourself as a human, you will die. You can't disguise yourself as a god, you will die. You have to admit to people that you have some powers, but you're not invincible because you are part mortal. Our main girl, she is naughty. She hasn't told people she's a demigod. So she goes into her life like restricting her powers, and she goes to be an underground assassin, and the person who's in charge of all the assassin people, the underground world, puts like this stone in the back of her neck to restrict her powers. So if people see her, like she doesn't radiate demigod. Like, yeah, she's beautiful like the demigods are, and she's like really strong and powerful like the demigods are, but she hides it all. And someone comes into the assassin world and basically says, I've got a job for you, girl, I need you to do XYZ, and it's to like infiltrate the demigod university. I believe it was university. Yes, university. And we'll come and let you know which person to kill. So she goes in as, not as a demigod, but as a slave, a mortal slave, where demigods do not look after. They use and abuse them for sexual purposes, for actual slavery. You know, they're not nice, do you know, because I'm bigger and better than you. I have power, you have nothing. And that is the concept of how it's brought up. But our main girl goes and she is the slave to 3 brothers. They are the strongest out of all this university, and they are, let's say, moody creatures in themselves. I loved these men, one more so than others, and I'm not afraid and upset and anxious to say that the most lunatic of the brothers, I liked him the most. And it goes into the aspect of, obviously this isn't the first book, so I can't really go into all the depth of it all, but yes, this goes into like the rekindling of like how they all like kind of start liking each other, and the background stories of each person, and the world building expands a lot in this book because there's a lot of like secrecy and just actual theft and naughtiness in this book. Not the naughtiness where like naughty, not that type. It's more of like a, I have murdered your mother and I've taken over the dead type of thing. And I really enjoyed this, really loved it. I actually did go into reading the 3rd and the 4th book of this, so I might as well talk about them now while I'm here. Oh, this one I rated 4 stars, really enjoyed it. And what did I rate it as? Ultra hype. That is it, ultra hype. That is what I've labelled this book. Right, number 3. Okay, so this is the 3rd one. I'm gonna put this down. The 3rd one of the series I liked the least. Not a bad rating, still a 3 star, so an okay book for me. But there's a lot of repetition in the book, and this one was a really big world story plot building. Like there was a lot of history in it, and there was hardly any action, hardly any romance. It was just not what I wanted in life for this, so it kind of put like a little down on the whole series, but overall I still really enjoyed this, and I rated it 3 star, and I said I bit my lip until I tasted blood. Stop yourself. Like the amount of times she said that gave me a headache, an actual headache. Honey, stop yourself. Why? Stop biting your lip until you taste blood. Like, bite something else and taste blood. Stop yourself. So that was number 3. Again, it could have been better. Number 4, however, kind of continued the same plot, and I'm so sad to say this because it was going in such a good direction. But number 4, I rated 3 stars. The first part was just really, really slow. There was a scene and there was alcohol involved, and all 3 brothers and 1 female really enjoyed each other's company. Please stop it. And I remember reading it and I was just like, girl, why am I blushing so much? Girl, stop. I'd continue, please continue, but at the same time, stop. I had such a good time reading that scene. It was just so intense. I rated that a 3-star, and I said the alcohol scene was straight up out of Percy Jackson, but not PG. Do you know in Percy Jackson when they go to like that Lotus Hotel and they're eating these lotus, I don't know, fruit dessert things, and they're like hallucinating and having such a good time and everyone's like so entertaining? Well, they had that with alcohol, but rather than anyone else being entertaining, it was just their inner circle. And when I say entertaining, I mean like cloveless entertaining. I had a great time reading that scene. I digress. And at the end of it, it was just so rushed. Like, it came to a conclusion within like 30 pages, and I thought you could have continued this a little bit more. I just wanted more details, more fighting scenes. The fighting scenes that were available were really, really good, but it just wasn't enough to say like the past book was more history based, and this one again slightly history based and like just a little bit slower, but it was a good series, and that is me ticked off. The Robin released, I read them all, and I had a really good time reading it, so I was able to mark off the series on my series tracker on my book reading journal. Overall, do recommend the series. If you wanted something that's a little bit dark, like I mean toxic dark, like the mistreating of it, the romances and oh, I love you, it was like get on your knees right now, I'm the boss of you, I can overpower you type of romance, have a go, you know, you might like it. They are on Kindle Unlimited. I just really like the editions of the books, so I went and continued and bought the editions of the books. I then went on to listening to quite a lot of the Murderbot Diaries books. I've got back into running, so I needed something that was quite entertaining, and what am I listening to? I feel like it's the dramatised adaptations. Let's have a look. Yes, dramatised adaptations were a movie in your mind. It's basically like when people are fighting, you can hear the ooh, ah, the punching, the smashing of the glass in the background, the metal whacking off metal when people are like fighting with swords, the snapping of the bones, the blowing up. It's really good. It actually is like a movie in your mind. So when you're running, which is like a mental, you're trying to fight yourself, it's nice to get completely distracted. So I've been listening to a lot of them last month, and I've continued with them this month. But the ones I listened to I listened to Rogue Protocol, which is number 3, then I listened to Exit Strategy, and I'm currently now listening to book 5, which is Network Effect. So in January I read number 3, number 4. So number 3 is called Rogue Protocol, and I rated it a 3-star. It wasn't, again, alright, I enjoyed it. It wasn't like the best. I don't think any of them I've rated 5 stars. I think some of them I had rated 4 stars, but I haven't rated any lower than 3. And on this one, Rogue Protocol, I feel like he wanted to just have the main person. He's part human, part robot, and so he's not called Murderbot, that's just what they've called him. Like his own personal unit that I had on the first book, where they're going on an adventure and he saves all these humans. Because what he's done is he's hacked into his own protocol. So like normally, I mean, you all understand what protocol is, like there's a certain thing you've got to do, and as robots you don't have like personalities, you don't make your own decisions, like it's all computer based. He's hacked into his own one of those, so he can just do whatever the hell he wants. And in the first couple of books he was like trying to hide the fact that he can do whatever he wants, but then he constantly has to end up saving people, and he's not even like going out of his way to save these people or to go into all these action based scenes. He just coincidentally gets into it and he's like, oh god, here we are, I've got to like help all these humans. And because he's not human himself, he's kind of like in the middle where he's like, I like robots, and he's like, I like humans, but he's not fully on one side. He's like just kind of like swishing in the middle. And he does this thing where like do you know when people are blunt and when they just speak the mind? He's like that, and sometimes it's just like in a monologuing that I just found insanely entertaining, because he's so abrupt and so rude and so honest, and I just think, like, touche, my dude, touche. Like, I can't argue anything he's saying, because I mean, I was thinking it, and his personality is just really, really good. So yeah, he's called Murderbot. I think he's a secure bot unit. He's basically the type of bot like, it's a bot made for fighting. Security bot. Yeah, so he's like got all obviously the machinery inside of him, but these bots are meant to like look human, to make their teammates more comfortable with them having like a human with them rather than an actual robot. So it goes into like the gist of like how his insides working, especially when he has like fights and like someone hits him on his head. It goes into like a little bit of like a scientific side of how his inside of his brain works compared to humans and compared to robots. He's like that medium ground where he doesn't need like the full health like humans do or the full mechanical like robots do. He's kind of like he needs a little bit of both, and it is really entertaining. And I know for a fact I am not doing a good explanation of this. Like I'm just not doing it. Anyway, the Murderbot in this book, it goes on an adventure. He just wants to have a nice time, look at the scenery. Yeah, it doesn't turn out peaceful. It just doesn't turn out peaceful, and it never has a good time. It didn't have a good time. So I rated Rogue Protocol 3 stars. Then the next book, X6 Strategy, I rated that 4 stars. Right, let's get on to talk about that a little bit. This one I did enjoy a lot more, therefore me rating it 4 stars. In the first book, he has his own team that he goes out with, and they like kindle a relationship with them, and they basically open up to him saying, yeah, I know you're a murderbot, I know you're half human and half robot, but we like you. And it was just really sweet, like being opened up like that. Anyway, in this book, one of the people from that group needs help, and he goes out of his way to help him, and it's nice to see all of them rekindle, and it's just a beautiful story plot. I mean, what actually happens, they're actually trying to like blackmail, sell people in this book. Like, it's quite dramatic if you look at it, but as a whole it was quite cutesy. Like, it was really nice being more like rekindled and everything. Yeah. And the amount of times he said like, I don't want to be human. Honestly, same. Same. Yeah, I love Murderbot. I mean, the series is, yeah, but I'm the actual individual Murderbot. He's great. He's really, really good. Really enjoying it, and I'm currently enjoying the next book in the series, but I'll talk about that later this month. Next month. I'll talk about that next month. Ah, I remember. Okay, so I listened to Six of Crows. I listened to that for my book club. I have started a new book club where it's like bi-monthly, and it's mostly like fantasy or like fiction retellings or translated fiction, that sort of stuff. So we're having a good time. So we listened to Six of Crows, and Six of Crows has always been a book that I've been like, I'm really intrigued to like read it, but like I'm really intimidated because everybody loves it. Like, everybody loves this book. Did I love it? I have a couple of discrepancies, to say the least, with the book. The main thing is, why is all the actors, or like the individuals, so goddamn young? Like, why are they actual children? Like, you cannot be the deadliest assassin known to mankind and be 16. You can't be in a I don't know how to say this without being inappropriate. How can you be in a house full of women dressing themselves up for the pleasure of men and be 15 and be like one of the most wanted individuals in that house? Why so young? Like, come on, at least make them like in the 20s, just a little bit, you know, just a little bit more realistic. So all of the main people, and there's a lot of them, there's like 8, are all young. I think the oldest person in this might have been 20. And you've all got like little niches of like romances with each people. You have people who are like straight, you have people that are gay, you have lesbians in there. So it's like insanely diverse, and I liked that about it. Like, it was nice seeing all the snippets of relationships, because obviously in books you have the main male and then the main female, and then that's the only ones that you look into. Well, this one, there was just so many relationships, and it was nice seeing that aspect. But it's called, what is the group called? They're kind of like assassins. These group of people are like all in a group, and I don't know what they're called, but let's say it's like the Crows, you know? I can't remember. Anyway. And they are the type of people where if someone wants a heist, or someone wants someone stealing, or someone wants someone killed, they will go to this group of individuals and say like, hi, I will pay you X amount for you to complete this job. So someone says, hi, there's this person who's in the highest conforming, restricted, highest security prison, and we need him out, we need him released because of X, Y, and Z. So they're like, okay, how much are you going to pay? And they're like, we'll pay you X amount. And if they actually got paid that, every single person in that group will literally never have to do a job in their single life ever again, even if it being divided to each person. So they're like, hell yeah, let's do this. So they went on this adventure. There's a lot of arguments going on, a lot of like, because it's YA, it can't really go into too much depth with gore and too much depth in romance, and I feel like it might have been better if it was adult and it just did a little bit more of a sprinkle. They went on like boat trips, they went into the history of why people were beefing with each other, the history of how the person got into that group that they were in, and yeah, they went through all of this trauma to get this individual out. And I was nearly going to spoil the ending for you then. Whew, that was close. And I'm not going to continue on the next book. Like, what happened at the end, I should have cared. I should have been like, oh my god, no. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. And that to me means I shouldn't continue. I should probably not continue and just kind of move on with my life because I didn't care about that individual. I'm sorry, I didn't. We actually looked into it when we were talking and like assessing the book. We were like, why are they so young? It was the same time when Hunger Games came out. And Hunger Games is YA, and everyone was loving Hunger Games. So we think the author wanted these to be all older individuals and like an adult book, but we believe the editor must have been like, at the moment the whole society is liking Hunger Games, they're liking young adult, so we'll tweak the book a little bit to make it more young adult. And it has got a really high rating on Goodreads. It's 4.46, but I just make them a little bit older. I think if it made them older, I would have been like, yes, loved it, chef's kiss, mwah. And the last book, sorry, I'm talking for such a long time, I'm already getting like half an hour in. Right, so the last book of the month is Return to the Delegate Dream Department Store. And I feel like when I die, put this in the casket with me and just, because I had a good time. It's just really, really sweet. It's about a world where, for example, you go to sleep, right? You're in your fluffy pyjamas, your fluffy socks, and you fall asleep on the sofa. You wake up in this world. You wake up in whatever you fall asleep in, so don't fall asleep naked because... And you go to a shop and you purchase your dream, not with money. You purchase it with like emotions. Say for example, you've had a really stressful day that day at work and you go to sleep and you obviously have all this angst and anxiety and just pure aggression because you've been so stressed, and you look in this massive department store. There's like loads of floors, some like sales, some like animal based, some emotional based, some like family originated based, and you go in and you're like, what do I fancy to do? I fancy flying like an eagle. So you go onto the floor where it's all animal based and you go to the till. After you pick your dream, you go to the till and you're like, hi, I would like to paint anger. So then they will take the anger emotion away from you and then you will eventually dream that dream. You don't have any recollection with like memory of this world individual in your mind. You might have a bit of recollection of the actual dream you had, but never about this world. And this world is based upon the people who live in Dreamtown. And what is her name? Penny? Yes. Penny, in the first book, it was like she just joined this job and it was so cutesy, so rushed off her feet, and it's just so like sweet and sentimental and personalised. If you want to like contemplate about life, this is the type of book that you look into. And I just felt that was just so cute, so cute. My camera gave me like a heat warning. It's cold today, so I don't understand why it did that, so I turned it off for a second and now back. So in this one, obviously this is the second one to the Dream Delegate Department Store, and now the series is completed and I read both books and I'm just really happy about that because it was such a good ride. Like, it was so sentimental, so sweet. Like, I wasn't reading it like, oh my god, I'm at the end of my seat, but it was like in this book, Penny has been in the department for over a year now. She's like the receptionist, so she's the first person that you see when you walk in. She does all the admin side of it all. Without her, like, it wouldn't run as smoothly, and the main person would like to reward her, so she gets a ticket to go into like the main town, and you can't, not any random person going to the main town, you have to have a certain pass, and to get a certain pass you have to work in certain industries, which is what she has, and she's worked there a year, so she's now got the pass. And in this town she goes to like the complaints department. They don't have complaints department in each like department of like a job sector. It's just a massive building for all complaints, and it goes through the meanings of why someone had complaints. You know, when like, I don't know, you order something and it's either got a hole in it, so you put a complaint through, or you order a book, for example, and like half the way on the page is missing, so you put a complaint in to either get a replacement, getting reimbursed, or I don't know what else, other satisfactory thing you can look into. And she goes into this and she has to look at why people put the complaints in, and her thought process is, I'm not going to look at the complaints from the new people, because the new people, this is the first time experiencing it, and it might not be for everybody, but she looks into the complaints from the regulars, or for example the people who just no longer get dreams, and it takes a snippet of the actual person's life. Say for example, if they've recently lost their husband and they are just completely depressed and they do not want to look into dreaming, or when they do dream, they dream with their husband and it's just too upsetting for them, so they no longer dream, like they wake up every morning and have just a dreamless night. She looks into why that's happened and what she can do to make it better, and then once she's done what she does, it goes into like the actual real life person's life, and it shows what she's done in the dream can affect the person's real life. And it's just really sweet, sentimental, cutesy, but on a personal deep meaning. It's not a book where you can just sit here and have a fun, you know, good time. It's a book where you will have a good time, but you'll come away with a deeper meaning of life. And it was really nice to read that at the start of the year. You know, new year, new me, new goals for the year. It was a beautiful read, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah guys, these are the 2 physical books that I read for the month, and then obviously the rest were in Kindle. Again, 9 is like my average type of books that I read, sometimes a lot lower and sometimes a lot higher, but on average it's 9. My goal for this month though is to read a lot more physical books. I didn't set myself a TBR last month, I just picked whatever I was interested in, but this month I went a little bit more structured, so I thought I would do myself a TBR. And as you can see in my TBR card, I'm using it for what it's called. It's a TBR card. So I've already picked out some books, and they're just there looking at me as a reminder that I need to read them. So let's go through them right now. Here is my TBR for February. Unintentionally choosing 2 blue books. Yeah, apparently so. So with me reading 9 books on average a month, I wanted to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, you know, in case I want to continue a series or like a new book comes out and I'm like so excited, I need to read it right now, drop everything. I didn't want to give myself the full 9 books, I wanted to still give myself some wiggle room. So I've chosen 5 books for this month, and I will see how it goes, but I do believe that 5 books each month for my TBR is like an achievable amount, because I don't want to, last year and the year before, I did it where I set myself, I don't know, 9 books and I read maybe 2 because I gave myself no wiggle room. I do not want to do that. I want to enjoy reading. So let's go for the 5 books that I've chosen. This book, Dead Voices, who is it by? Not a clue. Catherine Arden. It is the Small Spaces? Yes, Small Spaces series. I ordered this book October last year, to read in October last year. When did I get it? Last week. It's a beautiful paperback. Actually stunning, and it's YA, but when I tell you this gives you the creeps internally and externally. Why is it so scary for a YA book? I just don't understand. It's about a group of kids from school that they're all friends, they do stuff together, and the things that they do, it always attracts like ghosts, magical creatures that are trying to kill you. In this book, all I know is that they are going on like a holiday with that same friendship group with their parents, and they go to like a cabin in the woods. Who goes to a cabin in the woods? Who does that? If you go to a cabin in the woods, you are asking for trouble, because isn't there a horror movie called A Cabin in the Woods? And one night, a ghost hunter comes to the door. Hi, I'm a ghost hunter. Would you like me to offer my services to you in this cabin in the woods? Because I feel a spirit is a brewing in the mist. How would you respond if that happened to you? Would you be like, nah, I'm alright, thank you, close the door? Would you be like, yes, come in? Or would you pack your bags and leave that night? When it comes to ghosts, I don't play around with that. Bye-bye. Absolutely not. So that's all I know. I haven't fully read the synopsis because I want to go into this entirely blind, but the first book I read 2 years ago, October night, and I really got the creeps. It was insanely creepy. It just had the horror. It wasn't gory because again it's YA, but the author, she's just so good at giving you the creeps. And it's a small book, so that's book number 1. Book number 2, I'm very excited to get into, but I'm kind of scared because I've seen a lot about this book. So this is the 4th book, is it? No, it's the 3rd book in the series, but I was included the novella of Throne of Glass, and I really got into it last year, like insanely. I was like, oh my god, I'm loving this. And then I was like, right, I'm gonna put it down because there's other books I need to get into, only because I annotate these books, so it just takes me a long while to get through them, but I have a blast nonetheless. I'm so excited. So this book, again, can't really go into too much detail, but she's been sent on a mission to go to another land, and this other land opens up so much more of potential homeland, background, history, love interest, new love interests. It's just, there's a lot that goes here. The last book that I read was The Assassin's Blade, and is classed as a 0.5 book, so you're meant to read that like first, but I read that 3rd, so therefore this is the 4th one. It explained things in so much more depth, and if I read it the first time around, I wouldn't have read it knowing the impact that it has given our girl, and I'm really glad I read it like that. So if you are looking into reading Throne of Glass, read it 3rd. So read number 1, number 2, read the 0.5, and then read this one. So technically number 4. Very excited. It's a large book. It's over 500. Yeah, it's just shy of 600 pages, so it is one of the big boys this month. But nonetheless, I'm very much excited to get into it. The next book I've chosen is The Moon Glow Bookshop, and with me being like in the mood for Korean translated fiction, I've now got so many books that are like this. I just think this book just resonates with my background and resonates with me as an individual so much more. And this book is about, you go to a cafe, and rather than ordering, say for example, a caramel spiced latte, you will go in, sit down, and then the barista will make you a drink that is personalised and perfect for your soul. And that's all I know. That is all I know. So on the back it does say, what if you could turn the pages of your life like the pages of your favourite book? I'm wanting to read more of these books because yes, I do enjoy my fantasy reads. I enjoy escaping, but I feel like escaping isn't always the answer. Like real deep and personal, like some Gandhi shit right here. You need to look into your life a little bit more and actually look after yourself. So I'm reading these and I'm just appreciating life, and again, I have so many, so I need to slowly get through these. And this book is just gorgeous. It's just so pretty. So yeah, that's my next one. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I'm a little bit behind on the hype for this, but I do have Hollow, and I have luckily been able to get my hands on this beautiful edition. I'm sorry, why is she just so stunning? Again, the only problem is she's a small hardback. I mean, she's not, it's difficult because she's not a small hardback, but she's not a normal hardback. She's like the awkward in between. She's like a centimetre smaller than all the rest of the hardbacks, which I think is just even worse than doing small hardbacks. Like, publisher, what are you doing? This one, I'm really intrigued to read this one because I know it's about a woods that basically moves. Like the trees, do you know from like Lord of the Rings? Do you know that scene from the Lord of the Rings where all the trees move and fight? I mean, they don't really fight you per se, but there's this like curse on the woods, and it's not even like by day, it's by whatever they want to do. The trees just kind of like take over the world, section at section, house by house, family by family, animals by animals. For centuries the humans and the Fae alike have been trying to stop this curse from like destroying their whole world, because they are killing people, they are taking like their property, and they are taking the world. Like you can't go into the woods voluntarily. There's one day every, I don't know, like 12 years where the woods opens for all these like survivors and heroes to voluntarily go in and try to break this curse. But those individuals that go in, they've been brought up as like warriors, so they've been brought up fighting, they've been brought up knowing all the mythology of all the spirits and all the woods, so you have to be chosen beforehand. Our main girl, she's not chosen, but she goes into the woods anyway. She sneaks in and she tries getting all of the things to stop the curse. And the things that I was talking about is there's like 15 spirits in total, where they are beasts, they are like boars, they are dragons, they are koi fish, they are rats, they are unicorns, they're animals, but they're spirits. The known gist is that to get this spirit, you have to kill the spirit, and then when the spirit dies, it drops an amulet. Then you put it around your neck, and then you can control this animal. But it's very forceful, not very like spiritual, with the forest, with nature type of thing. Our girl goes in the aspect where she is trying to be at one with the forest, and it goes down that aspect. The main love interest, the main male love interest, he's a fae, and he's outcast to the fae society. He lives in these woods, and it goes into depth with how them two survive. The last book I've chosen is King of Ravens, and this kind of gives, and I don't know if it was inspired by Hades and Persephone, but it's very much giving Hades and Persephone vibes. So she lives, the main girl lives on like a cliff top with her family, and she's dying. And nobody knows what she's dying of. But her family, because obviously she's dying, her family keeps her very like locked in. No one can visit her, or like this cleanliness. And she just can't go for walks in nature because in case like she gets a cold and she just dies. And then this Sealer King comes out of nowhere. I don't know when, how, why it occurs, but it comes to her and says, hi. Hi, I can help you if you come down to the underworld and become my bride, my queen, which is Hades and Persephone, like to a T. And that's all I know. That's all I know. So I'm looking at the pictures. Obviously it's King of Ravens, and there's like feathers everywhere. The art is gorgeous. The art is so pretty. But my favourite art piece is this one, and I think it probably will be yours as well. Give me a little bit of that action, please. On the back it says, he pulls me against his chest and the world folds into feathers and darkness. I'm quite excited for this one. I don't want to know anymore, so I'm not going to read any more of the synopsis, because that to me, I'm sold. I'm so excited to read that. These are the 5 books I'm planning on reading in February. We will see how it goes. I have already started Hollow, and currently I am really mesmerised with the world. I'm very entertained. It is a good ride so far, and let's see what else I get up to. I feel like this is going to be a really good reading month for me, guys, and I'm really excited to get some physical books down, because it's not good. How it is, it's not good. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye, guys.